what's the matter, Kim? Am I too loud for you? Too bad, bitch. This couch, this TV, this whole house is mine. How could you let him sleep in our bed? Are you out your mind?
Back in 97, in the hype of Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie, Andre from Outkast, Jada, Corrupt, Nas, and then some. One man's urge to raise his family up from the deep end that is Detroit, planned to carry out a fake murder, tape said fake murder, and anonymously sell it to the national news, which at the time, or to this day, is still believed to be real news. Marshall had hoped this process would facilitate funds for some much-needed studio time, the like of which was noticeably improbable if one wasn't gangbanging or a darker shade of white. In the annual of true crime, some stories occasionally just stand as how easily one man's great scheme is another's the fuck you did that for. But this story, and how infamous it allowed matters to become, just prove a world that'll never see anything more than a bunch of Bonnie and Clyde, masterful pedicides, all mixed in a gangster's paradise. This is the shortened, but not easily explained story of how Marshall Mathers actually ended up brutally murdering his wife for clout. Although Marshall Mathers was born into a toxic world by his perfectly incapable single mother, who constantly fed him volume and utmost resentment for breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner, Marshall grew to be the positive type, as his earlier act as a rapper would demand no profanity, drinking, and most importantly, no potentially malicious behaviors. Marshall instead chose to perform in several schools all over Detroit, where he would impersonate Slim, a G-rated savage addict who was more cautionary character than an actual person, though of course no one realized it at the time. It is through the form of episodic type rap Slim would later rise to face the road to recovery after several relapses and exaggerated acquittal from numerous fitful misdemeanors. Slim, as an understandably controversial rap character, will still go on to somewhat become profitable for Marshall, until it was soon found out Slim was all made up, like capitalism. When a group of kids observed how Marshall was often spotted eating his mom's spaghetti instead of relapsing in one of the many crack houses around Detroit, savoring the sweet Jesus that is crack and cocaine. In the months that follow, Marshall was socially terminated, then heavily publicly criticized for having led on thousands of students towards the rabbit hole of positivity, earning him the spiteful title B-Rabbit from 8 Mile. Some would say what set everything in motion was undeniably for financial reasons, because whatever impersonating Slim funded into Marshall's life didn't grow enough to save. Others would stand to debate, citing marital trouble as the main artifact. As when Kim, last name Scott, Marshall on and off girlfriend at the time, got pregnant and gave birth to a healthy baby girl, Marshall deduced it was safer bet to wed Kim in a strategic attempt at buying himself time, and the likelihood he would find himself struggling to pay child support once their eventual divorce would occur, which according to Mathers himself was a matter of when, cause Kim had a winning streak of having affairs, a must she was known for doing at the time as payback for an affair Marshall had when he was 18. Despite it all, there were good times. Fast forward to Christmas Day, 97, and their house got robbed. Then on December 26, 97, Marshall woke up and chose violence, disappearing from his family as he had enough. Tired of eating mom's spaghetti, tired of sleeping next to someone who always managed to smell like full-wig old piss, tired of looking his daughter in the eyes, forcing him to stay up the whole night crying. Proofread by what happened next as he then conspired the business move that would change everything. See, true crime was on the rise again. This time the news knew what to expect. High rating for making fucked up shit famous, to a wide range of damaged brain consumers who never once stopped to ask if any of it was real, and if so, why was it real? Sadly, now you had Marshall Mathers, a desperate unhinged, ready to sell fake murder to make some money. Qui disait, a scam that would cost him life if gone wrong. Marshall had gone from his family for a full week now, plotting and getting in the headspace of his now newfound persona, Shady. An X-rated, conniving piece of shit, willing to even R.I.P. Almighty God if his unpredictable temper allowed it. This was new territory for Marshall. Nonetheless, there was no going back. He needed to take the world by storm. But what he had envisioned to unfold his plan, there was one problem that he needed to go home for. Marshall finally returned home on Sunday 31st at 2 a.m. Neighbors spoke to authorities and said they overheard nothing. Peculiar considered what investigators gathered of what happened that morning. I would advise you fasten your seatbelt, cause this shit you're about to hear is crazy.
Oh, what's the matter, Kim? Am I too loud for you? Too bad, bitch. This couch, this TV, this whole house is mine. How could you let him sleep in our bed? Are you out your mind? How could you just leave me and love him out the blue? Why are you doing this? Shut the fuck up! You're drunk. You're never gonna get away with it. You think I give a fuck? Quit crying, bitch. Why you always make me shout at you? Baby. Get the fuck away from me. Don't touch me. Please don't do this, baby. Please. I love you! Look, we can just take Haley and leave! Sit down, bitch! You move again, I'll beat the shit out of you! You did this to us! You did it! It's your fault! Look at Kim! Look at your husband now! I said look at him! He ain't so hot now, is he? Little punk! You loved him, didn't you? No! Bullshit, you bitch! Don't fucking lie to me! You really fucked me, Kim! You really did a number on me. I never knew me cheating on you would come back to haunt me. But we was kids then, Kim. I was only 18. That was years ago. I thought we wiped the slate clean. That's fucked up. I hate you. I hate you. I swear to God, I hate you. Oh my God, I love you. How the fuck could you do this to me? Come on. Oh God, my brain is racing. Let go of my hair! What, you think I'm kidding you? Fuck you! See, it all makes sense, doesn't it? You and your husband have a fight, one of you tries to grab a knife, and during the struggle, he accidentally gets his Adam's apple sliced. Then you slash his own throat, so now it's double homicide and suicide. But no, you were supposed to love me! Now bleed, bitch, bleed! Bleed, bitch, bleed!
By the time he was arrested, Marshall Mathers managed to fool the whole world, selling and recording 10 albums in a span of 3 years. Some still being released till this day. Funny how him being involved in a drive-by shooting with a paintball gun is what caught up with him. But not for long. Marshall was released on technicality, cause Kim and a so-mentioned unknown man she was messing with were both never found. He had already paid damage to the house they lived in as it was fucked up, but even the landlord was amused to hear he could have sued for more on the Detroit property. To bury the coffin even more, it was Kim and Marshall Mathers' own daughter, Haley, that described seeing his mother leave alive. So where is Kim? Fuck cares. Eminem has made himself unstoppable and is beloved by nations. And all we are left with is who knows. Maybe one day we'll finally get to discuss how Marshall Mathers tricked his own daughter into being accessory to murder. But until then, you've been listening to Unreasonable Doubt.